Well, hey everybody, welcome to the MenoLounge. It's not Tuesday because this is a brand new monthly series that we've started for you. Today is the very first of one of two that we're going to have every single month. The first one is, I need to look at my notes, they're so new. That's why I have my readers on today. You're like, why is she wearing readers? Our first one today of our new monthly series is our menopause, weight, and nutrition. We get so many questions. I'm going to bring up Barb while I'm talking. Menopause nutrition bar about weight management and nutrition, what we should be eating, etc. So we thought we need to have a series and a workshop. And here comes Barb, our clinical nutritionist. I'm telling everybody about our new series. And then we're also going to have once a month our OBGYN who specializes in estrogen and hormones, Dr. Larissa. And that topic is going to be hormones and more. So just watch out for the reminders and notifications. We're doing this because you asked, and poor Barb, all the questions. We thought, let's be organized about this. And I'm wearing my readers because we have like actual real questions today that, people have asked us. And hey, Barb, how are you?
Hi.
I see you have your glasses on too. We are about business today.
We need to talk about menopause and eye health one of these days.
Okay, let's have Huberman on because that's, Huberman, because that's his specialty. I won't tell you what some of my friends call him, like it's like a Huberman, that kind of thing. I think she calls him Hubba Hubba or something like that, but anywho, we digress right away. But I'm super excited because we have these conversations all the time, in our own team. But then women ask us, oops, I'm tipping over my whole thing here. Women ask us also. And so this idea is that we can answer these questions and you can always share them. You can DM them to us at MenoWell. You can DM Barb directly at Barbara Sobel Nutrition with some underscores and things like that. And
Barbara Sobel Nutrition.
Barbara Sobel, all the Barbara. And so we will collect all the questions and then come back. You can also ask us live. So we're going to be monitoring the chat here as well. So we're going to try to do all the things. It's our inaugural. So, we got hearts on that. So let's do it together. Barb,
Great.
How are you today?
I'm good. We're here in the cold summer.
Right.
It's freezing. I've got a wool sweater on today.
Okay, I feel like, okay, I'm sitting here. It is a mock turtleneck, but still, I'm cold.
You have to keep your neck warm. I know. I always like wearing bright colors for this, but, it's a little hard when it's winter.
It's the Bay Area. What's that quote? The Mark Twain quote. What
the coldest winter I ever spent was the summer in San Francisco.
Exactly. Yeah. So we have that right now. So if you come to the Bay Area, come visit us and bring a sweatshirt. Right. Otherwise, you're going to spend $50 for one that's not that cute at Fisherman's Park. Don't do that. All right, let's jump in. We're going to go straight to Q&A, and then remember you can put "Hey Health Coach" there, Angela. Drop questions here, and we'll circle back on that. So let's jump right into the first question, Barb. Is weight gain during menopause inevitable?
No, it's common. So common that I think people think it is inevitable.
Right.
But weight gain is complicated. And what happens in menopause is complicated. And our body goes through all sorts of changes. And our lifestyle goes through changes. Most of us are not running after toddlers anymore. Right? I know, right? But that does keep you active and moving all day long, right? So we have to look at what we're eating, how we're moving, how our body's changing, how we're dealing with stress, what's happening with our sleep. Are we, are we really nourishing ourselves, and other changes that might be happening? So it's complicated, and it's not, we all have friends, sisters, whatever, who don't gain weight. It's not mandatory. It doesn't happen for everyone, but it's super, super, super common.
Yeah.
And our bodies also change in composition. So we could still weigh the same, but maybe we don't look the same in our clothes. So our clothes might be tight, but especially in the waist. but we might be, we didn't technically gain weight. It just re-shifted and redirected.
We're going to talk about that because
Yeah.
that's one of the questions. And hi there, My Medical Mystery Journey. That's a great name. Okay, so then to answer short version, weight gain, it's not inevitable, but it's highly common. I know for my research also, you know this, when we started MenoWell, 90% of women in the stages of menopause gain 10 or more pounds. So if that's you too, then don't feel horrible, right? So,
I mean, it's also, think about how long we're talking about. All of perimenopause, which could be 10 years, and then menopause, which is a third of your life. So it's not surprising we'd have some changes in that big span of life too.
Lots of things can happen.
Yeah.
And I see My Medical Mystery Journey. You're asking one of the questions we were going to get to just right out of the gate. How do we get rid of the weight? My visceral fat went from 3 to an 8, or that's in 6 months. I'm not sure what measurement you're using there from 3 to 8. Are you pinching it? Like, what did you get? So tell us in the comments. But we feel you. All right. So let's go to number 2. That's a good segue. Which areas of the body are most affected by menopausal weight gain? Is it a belly fat thing?
So yes. We see visceral fat, which is the fat around our organs, increase. So sometimes we notice, oh gee, your legs might be getting a little thinner, but you're gaining weight around your middle. And that fat is very different, it's very metabolically different than the fat around the rest of our body. And when you think of a middle-aged man that has a little bit of a beer belly, that's visceral fat. It doesn't always happen to the same degree with women, but we tend to gain weight in our middle around our organs. And that fat can lead to higher levels, can lead to more risk for cardiovascular disease and diabetes and things like that.
Right. Which is the #1 killer of women. So all the more reason that we've got to get a grip on that. It's nice to feel good. I always say looking good, feeling good is like the bonus. It's the outcome, but it's really about our heart health and longevity to make sure that we are keeping our hip to waist ratio in check. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, it's a belly fat
yes
thing.
It is. And you can also be, just so you know, it's something to keep an eye on. You can be skinny fat, where you don't really know you have visceral fat unless you measure it. I know someone in the comments just said they have a Tanita scale, which is a special bioimpedic scale that measures it. DEXA scans can measure it. Sometimes you can go to a gym or a doctor's office, and for a minimal fee, and if you're a member of the gym or one of the patients, they just include it in your membership or like appointment.
Body or something.
Yeah, exactly. So, but the waist, you don't have that waist hip ratio. Just Google it. Everyone can do it. It's free. And it gives you a good idea. If you're within the ideal ratio, you're good. 0.7, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you find the smallest point in your waist, wherever that is, it's always different, and the widest point around your hips. And no sucking in or pulling the tape measure tight. It doesn't really matter what the numbers are. It's the ratio that we're looking at, right? It's not like, weigh yourself first thing in the morning so you get the lowest weight. It's really that ratio. So be honest with yourself. And if it's not what you want it to be, it's a good, get working on it.
Truth shall set us free. And besides, you can't suck in your hips. So
it's true.
The actual.
You want your hips wider than your waist.
Like, what can you do, right?
Put on the Spanx.
Right. No, sorry. No. Sarah Blakely, I love you, but I stopped that. Like, no.
And not for your measurements. Yeah.
So what about body fat percentage? This is something that I go around and around on. What do you feel is a good body fat percentage for women in midlife? I know, when we're a little bit younger, in that 20%, 20, 22, do we still feel like that applies in midlife? Or?
I think you I think you need to make room for a little bit more. I think that is pretty hard to maintain for women as they get older. That said, you really want to focus on muscle building during that period. And I think that's a more positive place to focus our energy, because we're losing muscle as we age, and we have to work really hard to keep it up. So if we can prevent that loss, work really hard to keep it on and to build it back. So if we can prevent that loss, I think it's more important than a little bit more, of the fat that's just around our body.
Right. Because,
no one really wants that, flappy arms or whatever. But in the scheme of things, it's not, it's the visceral fat that's really the issue. That's so, and can you keep up that muscle tone and that muscle strength and muscle power?
If we go for muscle, then losing some of that body fat is also going to be the byproduct of
that. Exactly. Yeah.
And an easy measurement, can you lift that overhead luggage into the bin without strain? We know it's full. Come on, we got that thing stuffed as much as we can. The shoes always weigh so much, but I can keep my clothes small, but the shoes,
I know.
But that's always a good test. How is my upper body strength? And you're still using your legs and your core, but that's really practical work of why we want to stay strong. Of course, longevity. Of course, metabolism. Muscle burns so much.
Even
more.
Brain health is related to muscle health. Yeah,
all those things. Yeah. Okay, good. So yes, it's a belly fat thing, but we can deal with that. All right. Hip to waist ratio is where we want to focus.
Correct.
And be real.
Right.
Can't suck in your hips. Okay. What are some of the best strategies for managing cravings and hunger during menopause? Hello, that is why MenoWell was born in the first place. Sugar cravings. So I'm going to let you approach it from a clinical perspective.
So the reason I like MenoWell bars so well is they are high in fiber, which helps keep us full. They don't have added sugar, which then makes our blood sugar peak and then fall really fast, which makes
only
us have
dates, right,
not dates. sugar. And that makes us hungry. And also, MenoWell bars have a good amount of protein for a snack bar, and that helps us stay satiated longer. We've also got a little fat in there for same thing. So it's really, there is no, magic food, but eating real meals and snacks that make your blood sugar stay fairly stable. So think rolling hills throughout the day instead of high peaks and valleys. And we're going to have less cravings for sugar, less cravings for simple carbohydrates. If we are having cravings for salty things, maybe we need to look, are we getting enough salt in our diet? Have we been sweating a lot or working out a lot? And that's our way of our body telling us that maybe we need to add a little more salt to our food, don't necessarily need to be eating potato chips. So we can look at that. But really, I think having us thinking about what we're eating can really help us manage those cravings if we put a little bit of effort into it, if we look at the day as a whole.
As a whole. First, that's a really good thing. But except for when you're in the moment of the sugar cravings, I forgot about the morning. I forgot about what's coming up. What I had planned.
And then I think
today.
The next thing is, what's your go-to snacks that you can go to when you're having that? I mean, I love chocolate. I'm not going to give it up.
Right.
I'm just going to have it in a way that's healthier for me. So, so I might not have chocolate chip cookies, but I could have dark chocolate, or I could have a MenoWell bar, or I could pick something that was a healthier version. So stocking your house with those things, or your desk at work, or your bag, or your car, or wherever you get those cravings is really important. and it doesn't mean you can't ever have anything good again.
Well,
it's just
it can still be good.
it can still be good, right?
Right.
Exactly.
But you mean treaty.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And yeah. And I think another thing that is there's a lot that goes into cravings. Looking at your cravings and looking for consistency. So if you're having a craving every day at the same time, is that a craving because you need a break from work? Is that a craving because your lunch was kind of skimpy and you're hungry?
Mm-hmm.
Are you tired? Or can you, is it time to go get a cup of tea and sit down? Is it that you need more protein in your lunch? Like, look for those consistencies. Is it the end of the day when you're exhausted and you really just need to be taking care of yourself? So really looking like what's our body craving can help with connecting. Do we really need sugar or whatever it is we're craving, potato chips or popcorn or whatever? And are we really hungry? Or is there something else going on in our life? And that's a pleasure, all those snacks are pleasurable.
Yeah.
But maybe we need to find a way around that in a different way and think about it differently.
Huge. And what I'm taking away you're saying, and it makes me think about my coaching days, is, what are you really hungry for?
Yes.
Yeah. Maybe it's food. Maybe it's not. Maybe even you're thirsty, right? Hydration is a huge piece of that. Or maybe you're hungry for 5 minutes of silence or 5 deep breaths or a 5-minute walk. So it's looking around. I love that. Noticing when you are having these cravings and then really getting quiet enough to understand, is it food? If it is, be prepared.
Right, exactly.
And if it is,
which is what,
be prepared.
Right. Or have options and be willing to try new things.
Yeah. I find that I'm a much better eater than I used to be. And being prepared is huge. And, of course, I always have plenty of MenoWell bars, hanging around. But dinner and lunch, I can pretty much do. Dinner, I can get caught off guard with really easily if I am not prepared. So having that protein pre-made also helpful at lunchtime too. So because I'm tired at the end of the day, working hard, my menopause brain is pooped. And so to be able just to make a vegetable to go along with the protein that's already made, which sounds silly, but still 30 minutes of making some protein or 45 minutes, usually not going to happen. So being prepared, but that's all day when your cravings are coming on. Yeah.
I mean, we're kind of like toddlers. We have to be the grown-up in the room for our toddler self, and preparing for that. And it's different for everyone. So
know yourself.
Exactly. That's the key. And then plan ahead.
Really good. That's how we're going to handle those cravings. Okay. Can diet changes alone help prevent or reduce weight gain during menopause? Diet changes alone is the question.
Yes. I think that diet changes alone can make a difference. I don't think diet changes are the one answer for everyone. And if we're not getting enough sleep, or we are having a lot of hot flashes or night sweats or heart palpitations or something that's really disturbing in our day, is diet can help, but is it the only thing? No. And I think we need to, and I'm food first, I'm a nutritionist, but I don't think it's always the only thing.
Yeah.
But it's easy to start with and play with. And if you're not, if it doesn't help, then go on to the next step.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think food is a big lever.
Yes.
We can do a lot with food. We can satisfy ourselves. I mean, calories in, calories out. Boy, there's so much chatter around that. But at the end of the day, I like to think about it as energy in, energy out. Energy is food. energy out is movement. And
Right.
if I am putting in more energy than I'm putting out, eating more than I'm moving, you're going to have a surplus.
Right.
So we don't
Right.
need to fuss about, argue about, well, what about with the hormones? And yeah, that's all part of it. But at the end of the day, what the energy we put in and then the energy put out has to balance
Right.
out or be at a.
And if your food is making you feel symptomatic in some way, it's just not agreeing with you, it's making your blood sugar spike and fall, it can make a big difference to change that.
Right.
Just the nourishment of the food.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not always the only thing.
No.
Yeah.
Well, and you just tipped on it and you said nourishment, which is one of our favorite words. Micronutrients. You're so wonderful about micronutrients. And we should just touch on again, macronutrients are your proteins, fats, and carbs. Those are the macros. But micros, like all the other good stuff, which is
All
sometimes why
the
we're craving things,
and
right?
exactly, and minerals and all those things.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's a big part of our diet that we can be missing, right? Without
right. And which is why we want to eat a variety of different foods all the time, so that we can get and a lot of vegetables and fruits, and so we can get that all those different nutrients.
You're so good about that, and also you cook with a lot of herbs too, huh?
Yeah, they're kind of magic.
I know.
And they last forever in the cabinet, so they don't go bad. You don't have to get that, you can take a simple whatever chicken and you can use herbs and flavor it a million different ways, and all of those different herbs have different phytochemicals in them that do different things in our body.
I always think about you because I'm pretty much, my mom's from Louisiana, so I was raised with seasoning things with salt, pepper, and garlic powder. Even though my mom's a foodie, still herbs, I don't feel like we're huge. Although now rosemary, she really loves cooking, which I love rosemary too. But fun little note, my son had a friend here who was accepted to Le Cordon Bleu cooking school.
Ooh.
I know, right? And so as a thank you for having him here, he cooked a meal for us. I forgot to tell you this, Barb. And he used, I'm going to see if I say it right, DP, oh my gosh, what was, dill, parsley, what would be the third thing? Oh my God, I just had a menopause moment. There was three things that were in there, DP something.
Basil?
And it was a six, it'll come to me.
Thyme?
Nope, it was something simple. Dill, parsley, mint.
Yum. Wow. Yeah.
DPM, that's what he said, which apparently is a cooking school. Did you see that menopause moment? I just had to reach for that.
But you figured it out. Yeah.
Healthy fats in there to. But
I love that combo.
So good, and it really brightened the whole meal. Beautiful couscous with sauteed kale. And then a salmon perfectly cooked. Man, this kid can cook.
Yeah.
He's 22 years old. And he said, oh yeah, I just had the DPM. I'm like, what's that? And so then he left me a whole little chopped up concoction of it. I've been using it. So good.
Awesome.
So don't be afraid to add those herbs.
I love those herbs in eggs. It's a good way to start the day out. Yeah.
Not mint though.
Yes, mint.
Get out of here. You put mint in your eggs?
It's good.
Okay, we're gonna have to try it. Mint in your eggs. You heard it here. Does anyone else put mint in their eggs? Let me know. My medical mystery journey. Do you have a real name? She has 25 grams of fiber every single day. No, 30 grams of fiber and 100 grams of protein, but still gaining weight. Oh, and she's talking about Mediterranean, which we're going to talk about that. So does that go back to the whole, even those are fantastic macros. We need that 25 to 30 grams of fiber, minimum 100 grams of protein to support our muscle metabolism. But if you are still your calories in addition to your macros, right? If your energy in is more than your energy out, even with great macros, you can still have an excess. Is that right?
Right. Yes. Your carbs and your fats are still going to contribute to your calories, and we're all different sizes. We all have different activity levels. So it it depends, I think, on the individual.
Yeah.
And what else is going on and what else you're eating.
Well, and that is a really good segue to jump into the Mediterranean diet and what was our next question? Which diet is best for menopause? Because I have a comment about that, but I'm going to let you go first. So which diet is best for menopause, Barb?
Okay. The Mediterranean diet is the most well-studied diet there is for longevity and heart health and all the things. And what I like about it is that it's loose. There is no one Mediterranean diet. What you're going to eat in, I don't know, France might be different than what you eat in Greece. That might be different than what you eat in Sardinia. But they all have a lot of colorful plant foods and protein, healthy fats like olive oil, and a little bit of kind of fun foods at the very top of their pyramid. I don't think, because we are all different, there is one exact perfect diet for menopause. I think those principles of eating a lot of variety, really limiting the processed foods makes a huge difference. Eating foods that you enjoy and you like are important. Eating enough food that you're really supporting your body, especially the protein for maintaining muscles, but not too much. That you're overeating is really important with that weight balance. So I think we can take parts of things that really resonate with us. Like some people love, Greek yogurt, and it's a really important part of their diet, high in protein, mixes well with things like berries, so you can get a big dose of fiber in there. But some people, dairy is not their friend. It just doesn't work really well in their diet. So they have to come up with some other things that would work in that place, that really work for their body.
And of course, a good framework is the Galveston diet. We love Dr. Haber, and the Galveston diet is a good go-to. And she's even adding more protein in her conversation, because the Galveston diet it's a more of a higher fat-based diet, but now she's adding a lot more protein. So it's kind of Mediterranean mimicking, I would say.
Yeah, and I also think, one of the things she really limits is added sugars and simple carbohydrates. Her carbohydrates that she does put in there are whole grains that really have more fiber.
Right. And Mary Claire loves MenoWell bars. Peanut butter is her favorite because they're high fiber. They have the good fats and they're high fiber. So it's that combination of the protein and fiber that really are the 1-2.
Right.
I'm scooting down here in the comments. I didn't see these earlier, you guys. Fashionalities was like, it's parsley. She's trying to help me remember. And then Martha says, then Natasha says cilantro. Yeah, that wasn't it. And then Martha's just laughing at me. So let's see. And then Natasha Fashionality says, I've never heard of mitten eggs. Right? I know. Okay.
Corsica. That's where I learned about it.
Oh, fancy. Okay. And then Meredith. Meredith, thank you. My medical mystery journey, Meredith. She says lots of veggies and berries. Yes, really good stuff. And then arugulas with cilantro, microgreens, mixed green leafy salad. You're making me so hungry right now. I also loved mixing berries with yogurt and
cinnamon.
Oh, cinnamon. Yeah. Ceylon?
Yeah. It's a kind of cinnamon.
Oh, you've got all the special things, Meredith. Okay.
I'm coming to Meredith's house.
I know, Meredith. Recipes, please. Really good stuff here. Really yummy. Cinnamon. I know you talk about cinnamon all the time, Barb, too.
Yeah, I love cinnamon because it gives things a sweet flavor, but it doesn't have any sugar. And it can help balance your blood sugar. You have to eat a lot of it, but things like oatmeal or yogurt or Greek yogurt, it can really give or cottage cheese and give a sweet flavor, but no sugar.
And cinnamon is good if you're trying to move from coffee that tastes more like a dessert to a black coffee, a little cinnamon on top, really good. That I'm a black coffee drinker, and that I transitioned with that because just a choice. I actually thought it was very cool because my dad drinks black coffee. And so that's why I did it.
Oh,
And
cool.
now actually he doesn't drink black coffee anymore, but
For
but
Father's
I'm
Day, you can
glad.
make him some special black coffee with cinnamon.
Right. Like, Dad, you betrayed me. But I'm glad. I don't need to drink those calories. That's just not one of my things. Okay,
Right.
really good. So Mediterranean, Galveston. No, but this is what I wanted to say about that, because here's where I got a little tricked on my own weight management journey. My family has hypertension, so cardiovascular health is really, really important to me. So that's an underlying reason why I love being in this conversation and MenoWell. But even if you're eating really healthy, good food, we can still have more energy in than
Correct.
out, right? So it's
Yeah.
kind of a
Yeah.
trick. Like, what do you mean? My diet's so clean, it's so good, but I still have more pounds than I want. And it's
Right.
still because we can still overeat the amount of really good foods for us based on how much energy we're putting out, correct?
Exactly. Exactly. And I think we have to be really honest. How much energy are we putting out? I think it's great to every once in a while go and track it for a few days and see what we're doing. A
Yeah.
handful of nuts here, a handful of whatever there, licking the spoon. It all adds up. And, some of those things add up in calories a
Yeah.
lot.
You know what I think is very sneaky because it's so good for us is olive
I was
oil,
just thinking the same thing. Yeah.
because it's so calorically dense, right?
Right.
So
Right.
it's just oil. There's no leaves, lettuce leaves in it, nothing, no fiber, zero,
Right.
zero
Right.
fiber.
But
So
super anti-inflammatory and good for us and great for our brains. It's just, we don't, you could suddenly eat 500 calories of it if you're not paying attention.
yeah,
You like cook your vegetables in it, you put it on your salad dressing, maybe you cook the chicken in it, it just adds up.
I
So,
have started, during the COVID, I decided early COVID, I was going to be a nutritarian. That's a whole other way of eating. And he talks a lot about cooking with water instead of oil. Like, what do you mean you don't actually have to put oil in the pan when you saute things? Like, you don't?
I know.
I never heard of that.
Yeah.
But
I mean, one of the things I love cooking with is putting a little bit of bone broth down because you get a little extra protein. Yeah.
and flavor.
And flavor. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great tip. It's better than water. So try it. Try
Yeah. You can
eliminating.
also get you can get those special culinary spray bottles and you put a
Yeah, the
little
misters.
yeah, you can put
Hmm.
avocado oil or olive oil in there and still get a little bit of the flavor
Yeah,
and the same cooking principles where things might brown a little bit more, but not necessarily as much of the calories.
I like it. And for me, I want to taste it. So I rather have
Yeah.
that olive oil where I can actually taste it instead of cooked. Like, oh, now it's all in the food and I can't really enjoy that flavor of it. And I also keep a tablespoon. I do a lot of things with an actual measuring spoon, a
Yeah.
tablespoon. So my pumpkin seeds, I know I'm using a
Right,
tablespoon, or
because
my
a
flax seeds.
tablespoon is really, like I measured my tablespoons, the like soup spoons in the kitchen, and they're really closer to 2 tablespoons, and the
Right.
teaspoons are really more like a tablespoon.
Tablespoon.
Yeah. And so you don't realize stuff just sneaks in. So I think that's why every once in a while, paying attention, measuring, doing what you're doing, where you actually measure, keeps
But
it
in a way
real.
that doesn't feel like, oh, I'm tracking
Right.
everything, because the sort of like the entrepreneur stubborn person in me, like, I don't want to do
Right.
that, right? But if I use a third cup scoop, so that's another thing. It's quarter cup seems too small, like oatmeal, not enough. Half a cup actually is more than I really want. So a third seems to be like my thing. And I just use those measuring cups when I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing things. So I don't have to think about it all the time. I use that tablespoon, and it's measured, but it's not restrictive
Right.
because
Right.
I'm stubborn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I think most of us are, and most of us have a stubborn, don't tell me what to do type of streak.
Yeah, especially if you're an
The good one
entrepreneur.
and the bad
Um,
one, right? Yeah.
Over 50, we get extra stubborn, like estrogen. You don't need that. Oh, we care for the whole world. We still care, but we care like, I think I care what I need, and then I'm going to care
Yeah.
what you need, right? So thank you for that. Okay. how does alcohol affect weight gain during menopause? Wah, wah, wah.
Well, okay. It is empty calories. So if you're trying to watch your weight, there's calories. If you're drinking wine or beer, it's just the calories in it. Drinking a mixed drink, there can be more calories in the mix. A lot of them have sugar or agave or I don't know, whatever they put in, simple sugar. So there's that obvious piece, the actual calories, and you're not getting any nutritional benefit from alcohol. Although if you look at some bar menus now, they're using so many herbs, but
mint,
not from the
just
alcohol.
Mint. I have mint in my skinny margarita.
Right.
Tequila, lime juice, and mint. Thank you very much.
Right. So, I mean, the other things we need to look at, do we make different decisions about food after we drink? I mean, I know if I go to a restaurant and I'm having a wine or whatever, I'm always game for dessert. If I don't, not always game for dessert. Sometimes it just never sounds quite as good. Yeah. So what does that do for our habits and what we're eating? We have to kind of be aware of that. And then, most women from perimenopause on do not handle alcohol as well. So is it interrupting our sleep? Because if we don't sleep well,
that's a reason not to drink, right?
There's studies that showing that people who don't sleep, I think it's who sleep under 6 hours a night, eat 300 to 400 more calories a day.
Wow. Than
people who sleep over 6 hours. And I don't remember if that's all men and women, but it's a pretty significant amount of calories, something to be aware of. And so we need to think about that. And then the next day, are you feeling good enough to work out? Or do you just feel like eating, comfort food and taking the day off? So there's a lot of implications all the way down the line. And I don't want to take it, say, no, don't ever have it. I mean, it's personal decision. And it's another thing that we just have to check in with. What's it doing for me now? And what's the trade-off? And, if I decide I'm celebrating my birthday and I want to have some, or I'm on vacation, great. And if I decide it's a Tuesday night and I want to get up early and work out in the morning, I'm going to pass. It's something I think we need to think about the situation.
Yeah.
And how it serves us.
It's being intentional.
Yeah.
Right. We don't have to cut things out. It's like, I'm never going to eat carbs again. Like,
that's never going to work, right?
It's never going to work. And it just makes you want them more. So just be thoughtful, be intentional. Why? Moderation. And are you willing to trade your sleep the next day?
Right. And how you feel the next day.
Yeah. And I love that. Like, we do, our inhibitions go down. So before you made all the good choices at dinner and feel so good about yourself, one cocktail and you're like, yes, to dessert.
Right. And then, there's the whole go out with your girlfriends, just eat snack food or whatever and not a real dinner. That never ends well for the diet.
Yeah, not so good. Unless it's intentional and you decide this is what we're doing.
Exactly.
Today, I'm eating whatever I want. I'm going to have drinks and I'm back on whatever I want to do, my focus tomorrow.
Right.
So then there's that.
Right.
So fair. Okay, let me make sure I didn't miss this one question. Food, family, and travel. At 53 years old, is just doing Pilates, quote unquote, good enough, or should you also add strength training? Yes.
Yes, you should add strength training.
Pilates is fantastic, and we need strength training.
Right.
There's just no two ways about it. I didn't even let you answer, Barbara. I just went right in there. Yes.
That's okay. We need to lift heavy things and use our muscles. And
all the time.
All the time. Yeah.
And let's just put a pin in the idea that yes, we need to work out, right? We need to have our dumbbells or weights at home or at the gym. But let's be real. We are working out 30 minutes a day, maybe 45 minutes a day, but we have the whole entire day to lift stuff. Right. So if I look for every chance, which is a lot because I move a lot of cases of MenoWell bar from here to there. You've seen me, Bar. You're like, oh,
Truckfuls.
truckfuls. That was so unintentional. I'm like, dude, are you not going to help me put these cases in the back of this semi? He's like, I don't have a dolly. It's like, AKA, it's not my job, lady. I'm like, fine. Do you know how old I am? Like, I pulled the age card on him, Barb. But anyway, the point being, find those opportunities to pick up your groceries, to move books, to garden, like do things where you have to lift dirt.
Even
don't just defer.
Pulling, like
pulling, pushing. It's a workout. Push, pull, lift, right?
Exactly.
Do that
because take the stairs. Do all that.
Stairs. We're doing that all day, and the formal aspect of that is neat. Non-exercise activity.
I can't remember, but
training.
That's like fidgeting, and
I just made that up.
Yeah.
Okay. But I don't know. There's fidgeting. I know. That's just burning some calories.
Okay. It's walking while you're on the phone. It's all sorts of things.
But I mean lifting too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, where can you pick stuff up? Because we're moving around during the day. And then we sneak all that stuff in. And yes, walking, getting your steps, lifting things, pushing things, standing up, all of that stuff. That's what adds up because we're doing that for 6, 7, 8 hours a day. Yeah. And it's not just the 45 minutes, if we're lucky, in the gym.
Right.
So don't discount that either. Because I think as women, we tend to go, oh, that's not really a workout, but we got all that time. So
yeah.
So that was a good question.
Clean out the garage. Every week.
You clean out everything once a week. Do something.
Do something.
Roof, put on a new roof. No, just kidding. All right. Let's see. We're getting down to the bottom here. So drop some questions. I think I saw a question about protein powder. How do you feel about protein powder?
I think protein powder can be really helpful for people to help get to their protein goals. If you can't eat Greek yogurt, that's a great protein powder. You can mix, a great source of protein. You can mix some protein powder in coconut yogurt or almond milk yogurt or something like that. You can always make a smoothie. Some of them dissolve really well in hot things or cold things. And it can be a time saver, and it can get you some protein really easily. Usually is not very calorie dense, so that is helpful weight-wise. And I just would have people, my biggest recommendation is really look what's in there. There's a lot of them with a lot of flavorings, and make sure that you know what you're eating, right? But if it's something that you could, you can make your own flavorings, add some vanilla, add some chocolate, whatever, put it,
that's a good idea, the unflavored kind, and then add your own things that you can control a little bit more.
But I think it can be really helpful. I don't think it should be your only source of protein, but I think there's lots of great options that are vegetarian, not vegetarian, whatever serves you.
Right. I love it. Read the label so you know what's in it. And I like it too, as I used to start sometimes with some in my Ollie says I put a dollop of protein powder in my Greek yogurt, and blueberries and nuts, which I love. Yummy. Hey, Dana. And so, but now I've actually started trying to get all my protein with food. And then I know I'm going to have my MenoWell bar, so that's usually peanut butter and chocolate these days at 3:00. And then I can see, did I get in my 125 grams of protein? And then if I haven't, then I will have my yogurt and protein powder then to make sure I get myself over the hump.
Yeah.
So I save it as, it's like the strategy is to get that last bit in at the end,
right? But
to try not to start with protein powder.
Yeah.
I just found I was having too much of it for me.
It can creep in because it's easy. You don't have to cook it. Right. So,
which is my favorite way.
Your way, right?
It's in the bowl.
Yeah, exactly. But I think, same thing. Check in every once in a while.
Yeah.
And for some people, for breakfast, it can be really, especially breakfast, can be really easy and really
It is,
nice.
and it's in a good power smoothie. I
Yeah.
totally agree. So I'm not saying no. Do both if you need to,
Yeah.
especially if getting that 100 to 125-ish grams or whatever, 1 gram per your ideal body weight, Dana protein goals, is you're still working on that journey, because I know sometimes women feel like it's hard to get that much protein, which
Yeah.
it actually really isn't. But you have to be intentional, like all the things we've talked about so far today. Then, if you need 2 scoops a day to get there in the beginning, then do what you need to do. Like get over the hump first, and then you can optimize after that.
Yeah.
Add a little extra of whatever you're already eating, of chicken or any, animal protein, just increase that a little bit. You're going to get that extra protein.
Yeah. It can be a great thing to take along with you when you travel too, because it can be
Yes.
hard to get that enough protein at breakfast, especially.
Okay, so I've been that weird person that's pre-measured out a scoop in individual bags to
Yeah.
bring with me. I'm just waiting for TSA to pull me over one of these times. They're like, what is that white powder that you have in your suitcase? I'm like, smell it. It's protein powder.
I dare you
I'm
to
kind
eat
of
it.
hoping they do it. Okay. All right, we have one more question, but Ollie says, thoughts about when to cut off eating at the end of the day before sleep to not disrupt sleep. Good question.
Great question. I usually say 2 to 3 hours to give yourself time to digest. Sometimes it's hard. Some of us don't eat dinner till late by the time we get done with work. And if you work out in the evening or you still have kids around that require schlepping somewhere. But if you can get 2 to 3 hours, that's great.
Yeah, I agree. I try to stop eating at 7. I have an alarm on my watch, 7:30, kitchen
So
closed.
that's good.
Sometimes it goes till 8.
Yeah.
But 7:30, and then let's not talk about intermittent fasting. Let's save
Okay.
it to next
Let's
time. So
another.
don't
Yeah. Yeah.
forget.
Okay.
What do
Okay.
you
We'll
guys
talk about
think
it.
about that? Should we do a big section and talk a lot about intermittent fasting next time? So cliffhanger. Okay, last question. How does stress contribute to weight gain during menopause?
Great question. Okay. Lots of different ways. First of all, some of us are stress eaters and some of us don't eat when we stress. So we all have those friends that just, they were stressed out and they didn't eat for days. And then some of us go to comfort food. So those choices, what are we eating? And then how does that make us feel? And are we, eating the high caloric things that really aren't nourishing us is one piece. Second piece, when we have a lot of stress in our bodies and we're made to have stress, get rid of it. Kind of like if you've ever watched your dog get in a crazy activity, and then it just goes and takes a nap and it like gets it out of its system. We never get that time to take that nap. So we just keep building up stress. And stress increases our insulin levels. And insulin levels, we become less sensitive to blood sugar and we tend to gain weight in our middle. So stress can have a big impact, especially long term, on our bodies and the shape of our bodies and weight gain. So I think it's important to notice when stress is affecting us, take a step back and look at some ways that we can let go of it so that we can really help balance our bodies.
I love that. I know I notice when I'm in a particularly stressful deadline kind of situation. First of all, I'm more hungry, but that's again, what am I hungry for, right? It's psychological. And then I do feel a little more bloated sometimes around the middle when I'm in a kind of a heightened stress state for too
Well, our
long.
digestion doesn't work as well either because everything's coming after our stress, helping survive stress, keeping us alive, right?
Body's sort of in fight or flight in the background.
Yeah. So that's another thing.
So I'd love to offer up for stress management. I go to deep breathing because you can do it anywhere.
It's free.
In the car.
Yeah.
You do it at your desk right here. So if you ever get on Zoom with me and you see me sitting here with my eyes closed, I'm deep breathing, so don't say anything. But, simple box breaths of breathing in deeply from the belly, not up here, right? If your shoulders are going up, then, you're not getting a deep breath from your stomach. So belly breath, 4 in, hold for 4, release for 4, just kind of going around. Did I miss a 4? That's not quite a square, but breathe in, hold at the top.
Hold the top
for
out.
4.
Hold at the bottom.
Exhale, hold at the bottom.
Yeah.
That's called box breath. You can also Google that. But that has really helped me a lot. And just do that 4, 5, 10 times, however many times you need. And it doesn't take long. And you're just going to calm your body and nervous system down. And
it's kind of like magic.
It is incredible. And we know there's science behind it. So, and it's free. It's always available. So. Wow, great. Super good. We answered a lot of questions. We did. We have tons more questions, but we pulled out the ones we thought would be fantastic for today. And of course, if you want, we're going to do this a monthly and we'll have questions. We're going to talk about intermittent fasting next time. Oh, look at Meredith tries to sneak one in. Does HRT make you gain weight? You're going to have to wait until next time for that. We'll add that to our question list. And you can also, if you want to work one-on-one, because sometimes we need a one-on-one, reach out to Barb directly. So Barb, tell people where they can find you in case they would like to work with you directly.
Great, thank you. It's barbsobel.com, and then I'm at Instagram at Barbara Sobel Nutrition with an underscore between Sobel and Nutrition.
Yes, because group environment is awesome, and sometimes we just need to have a one-on-one conversation for a reset, get yourself set in the right direction, or something a little longer. So I highly recommend, obviously, Barb.
Thank you.
Of course.
Well, this was fun.
Super fun. Dana said, yay, monthly editions. Absolutely. We just realized that we talk about a lot of this stuff, on MenoLounge, which we love on Tuesdays. And then we're a nutrition and wellness company. So we want to lean in even further and be of a resource and share Barb with you.
Great.
Because she's like that. But go find her on your own too. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for your great questions and engagement today. Super fun. Stand by for, and we're going to do this. It's going to be the same?
Yes.
Second
Thursday.
Second Thursday of the month. So we'll see you in July for this Meno weight and nutrition conversation. So send us questions and bring your friends. All right, everybody.
Thank
Be
you.
well. MenoWell. Thanks, Barb. See you soon.
Later.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.